Hi, it is very hot because I am currently in a desert in the United States. I haven't been in the United States in 17 years, and I also have never been in a desert. But it's been, traveling, all that stuff has been pretty hard now that COVID has been taking over the world. But now it's finally letting us go, and going back to normal with traveling is so good. I don't know if you remember, but I had a podcast together with a guy named Tom.
That would be me.
And he kind of invited me to come over and have a good time in the United States.
I should. In fact, they should call this desert a dessert because this trip is sweet.
So I'm gonna drop a link to his channel down below. Give him a like, subscribe to his channel, and just enjoy his videos because they're so good.
Thank you. If you want to.
You always have the option not to, but I highly recommend you to do that.
Me too.
Some of you might know that when I started my YouTube channel, I was shooting most of my videos with this lens. It is a 16-35 f4 size lens with OSS and all the good stuff. And I was using this for a pretty long time in the beginning because I could not afford any other lens that had this focal length. And I think that this lens was like the best choice for me back then. And now that I've been advancing up my career, I've been trying out different lenses, such as the one I'm shooting with right now, which is 16-35 f2.8 G Master lens. But I've also tried the 1728 f2.8 from Tamron that I actually bought as well, mainly because my old G Master lens broke. You probably know this story already. The 16-35 f2.8 GM lens, which is this lens, is by far one of the best lenses that I've used when it comes to wide angle zoom lenses. But it's also one of the most expensive lenses that I've but it's also one of the most expensive lenses that I've used and broke during my time as a videographer and full-time content creator. There's a couple of things that I really like about this lens though. One of the things is the image quality that comes out of it, because it looks so incredibly good when you're shooting B-roll, when you're shooting videos, and when you're shooting any sort of photos with this lens. It's also giving you the full range of the 16-35 with the f2.8 aperture. However though, this lens is still costing $3,000 in Sweden, including taxes, and it's starting to get a little bit old. Still a very high quality lens, but it has a couple of years on its neck, and I think it's due for an upgrade. Take a look at this. This is amazing for me. It's very good because it's cooling down. It's incredibly hot in the sun right now. It's like a hurricane up here, Tom. I can't hear him. It's too windy. Okay. This lens, which is 35 f4, has been one of my favorite lenses for a very long time, mainly because I started using it when I started my whole YouTube journey. And there were so many things that I could use it for, and I felt that it had potential that I could utilize whenever I wanted to make a video. But the one thing that it always made me feel was that it is not enough with f4. I always wanted to have like the 2.8, that was the thing. But I don't really know why, because f2.8 is only like something that you really need if you're shooting a lot of indoors, if you don't have lighting directly under control. So if I were to use this lens in the studio, it probably would look the same as my 20mm f1.8 that I got like at my main setup. The difference with this lens though is that it has built-in OSS, which is great because it gives you a way smoother shot whenever you're walking and doing these vlog kind of stuff. But the more I've been vlogging, the more I've also felt like I don't really need to have that smooth looking shots, because there was this one time when I was vlogging, I was actually using a gimbal. It didn't really give me this like nice feeling that I personally want to have in a vlog, and it just made it feel so incredibly produced. The more I use this lens, the more I feel the same thing, because I kind of like to have that little bit like jiggling around in the frame whenever I'm doing my running on vlogs. But whenever you're shooting those like smooth B-roll shots and getting those steady hands and detailed shots of your products, that is where the OSS comes very in handy. When it comes to the 17 to 28, I think that this is a great lens, but the downside with it has been that it always feels like this lens is just about never enough when it comes to the focal length. I personally love to have like the 16mm focal length, and even though it's not that much of a difference from 16 to 17, it's still something that you can notice when you're shooting the videos. Oh, it's so windy. I gotta duck down. When you go up to like 28, I do think it lacks a little bit of, you know, tightness in the zoom, because I always want to have those extra 7mm that is the 35. Come on, I don't want to have this much wind. I gotta run back because it's too windy. I'm gonna sit right next to the rock. This is not the human, the actor, the rock, if you're wondering. It's a regular rock, even though they look the same. However though, this lens is priced very well, and it's also weather sealed, with something the 16-35 f4 is not. And that is usually something that only the premium lenses are, and I would not call this a premium lens, even though you have the f2.8 aperture and the weather sealing, because it doesn't feel like it's built good. It feels kind of plasticky, and it feels like it's gonna break on you, and the zoom ring will wear off the more you use it. Same as my good old 28-5 wear off the more I used it when I was running on shooting events and that kind of stuff. But it's a matter of what you pay for and what you're gonna need it for. If you're gonna be vlogging with this lens, then it's gonna be a perfect fit, because you don't have to pay that much with a running gun lens, that you don't have to worry that much if it breaks. Take a look at this guy vlogging with the FX3. That is one hell of a vlog setup though.
It's pretty sweet. I have the Sennheiser MKH50 top handle, which
I have no idea what that is.
Okay, here's what this is. Microphones. The absolute best boom microphone you could ever have, Sennheiser MKH50.
This guy knows that.
I have a whole video about that. Peter showed me this right here. You don't have to manually control your audio, and it will still work, and it will still sound good. So,
it is the best.
Turns out in 2022, you can actually just have good audio built into a camera automatically. Auto audio.
One of the best parts about this microphone that I'm using is that I always use auto whenever I'm shooting my videos. And fun fact for those that don't know is that whenever I'm shooting in my studio, doesn't matter what it is, I'm only using the shotgun microphone for everything that I do.
It sounds so good too, is the thing. It's such a small freaking microphone. I have this.
Look at that.
This.
That is a big setup. But it also sounds good though.
Yeah, it's really good. I love it, honestly.
By the way, which wide angle lens is your favorite lens for Sony cameras?
24 1.4 G Master.
Okay, so that's the one?
It's expensive, but it's absolutely worth it.
I like that too. I might have done a few videos with it.
I might have bought it because of you.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe. Including all of my Sony cameras.
Can't remember. I think it was something with B-roll. I don't know.
It was so long ago, I can't remember.
So long ago, you cannot remember? It's crickets.
Yeah. Even the wind stopped. There's no laughing.
So I'm back to using the 16-35 f2.8 GM lens. But to sum this video up, I'm gonna say like this lens, hands down, is the best lens that I've used when it comes to wide angle lenses, and I've tried a lot of them. I also want to say that I do know that Sigma has released a new lens, but haven't gotten my hands on that yet. So I'm not going to count this in to this like lens walkthrough that we're doing right here. But the final verdict that I got is that if you are just starting out, if you want to have a good wide angle lens to start vlogging, start making YouTube videos, record yourself at home and that kind of stuff, then the Tamron lens is the way to go. I think that it brings you the most value for the money that you pay. Even though I have noticed that the autofocus is a little bit off, it can also hunt and, you know, miss autofocus time and time again. But it's like one of those things that you gotta expect when you pay for the lens, because it's only like $800. The Zeiss lens is at around like $1,200, and it's something that I have a personal attachment to because I started with this lens, and it also gives you the last like 7mm that you want to have without having to go up to the G Master pricing. But you also lose the aperture, so you have f4 and f2.8 in the Tamron. But I'm gonna say, unless you actually need to have the 7mm extra, then this lens is gonna be a no-go, especially since it's very soft on the edges when you go up to 35, and the Tamron is gonna be more than sufficient for most of the things that you do as a content creator. If you can afford the 16-35 G Master, on the other hand, that is what I would recommend anyone to buy if you have the money. But then again, make sure that you can make the money back from investing into the lens, because it's one hell of an expensive lens. Don't forget to subscribe to Tom.
Yeah.
Again. He's like Tom Buck, right?
YouTube.com/Tom Buck.
Yeah, right here. I'm gonna drop a link to his channel somewhere around in this frame. Point somewhere, Tom.
Here.
Yeah, okay, that's perfect.
Also, thanks for coming over here, Peter. It's like absolutely amazing. The power of YouTube, and then we can hang out in person. It's awesome.
It is. And it looks amazing here, by the way. Thanks so much for joining in on this video.
Thanks for lensing me be a part of it.
Oof. I think that, yeah, we're just gonna...
I'll leave.
Okay. See ya. Bye. Don't forget to subscribe to Tom's channel and my channel. And all that good stuff. You know what? Yeah. Bye.